Hi guys, welcome to your moon in Cancer. Now I'm gonna dive right into it because I don't want to waste any time explaining to you what the moon placement represents. Now, moon in Cancer, folks. I always start my videos by explaining if it's a fantasist or a realist moon. This is a fantasist moon, and probably one of the reasons why this sign gets swindled the most as well by users and narcissistic personalities out there. Now, why I say this is moon in Cancer people, if the nurture has been good, a proper nurture has been given to the Cancer, the lunar Cancerian, then this is a very caring placement, kind of like Scorpio moon. Now, here's the thing. If the nurture is good and the person is caring, these guys have a lot of love and care to give. And so they kind of look at their object of interest or person of interest with rose tinted glasses. They don't really see their lover or the person they love for what they really are. And time again, I've seen moon in Cancer folks, because they're so eager for relationships, because Cancer moon individuals are relationship centric. Certain signs do well single or doing distance relationships from a distance, and then there's certain people out there that just can't go without relationships. Cancer is just one of those signs alongside Libra. Now, because they're so relationship centric, like they need to be in a relationship, these type of people usually they can't be picky. They can't be picky because it's one of those things like beggars can't be choosers. If you don't know how to be single, then you pretty much grab whatever comes your way. And sometimes whatever comes their way is not the most genuine person. And those people that come their way, they know that this is a person who is going to give a lot in the relationship, because Cancer moons are givers. Assuming the nurture has been good, Cancer moon people are big givers. In a way, I find that manipulative, but it's really that person's cup of tea. I've in the past have attracted Cancer moon people, and the males have done what I've seen the females have. I've seen the females and male moon Cancer folks to do this. Depends on who you're doing it for and how they're going to perceive it. Certain signs are suspicious of that sort of giving. Other signs, if they're well-intentioned, they'll be like, wow, this person really cares for me and will go for you. And then other times, you're going to attract user personalities like, oh, this person is just dying to give things, and I'm just going to go with this person because I'll see what I can get out of them. And this is why a lot of users tend to go for Cancer moon people and Pisces moon people, because the sign doesn't know how to be alone. The sign is dying to be in a relationship. So you grab whatever's coming your way, but you don't really discern if this person is genuinely into you or is there an ulterior motive to why they're interested in you. Now, two types of, so Cancer moon men, Cancer moon women, they're both guilty of this when they really like someone. I knew a Cancer moon person at work, and all the older ladies decided to give this lady, advice later on. But she was someone who liked another coworker, and I don't know if she knew the man was in a relationship or not, but this person that she liked he was, the quintessential bad boy, and she liked him and she wanted this guy, and she wanted him so bad that how she decided to showcase her love to him is, or her infatuation with him is, she started to bake him muffins, um and she started even, you know, helping him out with his work things. And there are people like that you hear about in school. They have a crush on somebody and they start to do their homework for them. There's people like that. And I don't think that people should be that giving, because first of all, you're hindering the growth of that person that you like if you start to do that kind of catering. That's a separate matter. If you start to do somebody's homework, you start to do their work tasks for them, that just, you're hindering their growth. That's toxic love, if you will. And what it does is, if a person you'll never know if this person genuinely likes you, or is it because you just bend over backwards for this person and you just do everything for them. Long story short, this lady was just doing all sorts of things for this guy, and this guy was in a relationship with another woman, and he was just using her. And you know, eventually everything came to surface, and then the older ladies at the workplace started to give this young lady some advice or wisdom, if you will, because these women also had burnt their hand when they were younger, and said, maybe you might want to reserve all of these things that you do for a person once you actually are in a relationship with them, rather than giving these perks before you're in a relationship with them, because you're gonna attract all kinds of wrong people. And Cancer moons are guilty of that. They do way too much for their love interest before they even get with this person, because sometimes I think it's manipulative, because when I was younger, I used to attract a lot of Cancer folks, and I kid you not, all of the Cancer men, it was literally like there's some kind of class out there that they all attend, because they all behave the same way. And how they showed care is they would go up and beyond for me in the things that they did for me, up and beyond. Now, to me, they were friends, and I didn't know that they liked me. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't assume people like me until they tell me verbally, affirmatively, that they like me. So none of them ever told me, but they went up and beyond, like when they did things for me. And one of them eventually told me, and when I said that I wasn't into them like that, do you know the first thing that came out of this person's mouth? It was, I did ... for you. You know, I want to return. And I was like, I never asked you to do any of that. In fact, I didn't even know this was coming with some kind of ulterior motive. Had I known, I would have never taken it. So that was a valuable lesson that I learned when I was younger. There's no free lunches in life. So if somebody's going up and beyond for you, just know there's an ulterior motive to that, and just know that if they don't get something in return, or you don't reciprocate their feelings in exchange for what they're doing for you, you're gonna hear about it. And that's why I say it's manipulative too. Now, while I understand that they do that out of care, but my advice to Cancer moon folks is that if you are going up and beyond for a person, don't do it as a tactic for that person to reciprocate your feelings, because if tomorrow they don't, then you say these things, or you have this ulterior intention behind what you're doing, this motivation behind it. And some people see that as manipulative, like people like me, because I see when someone's going up and beyond for me, I see that as manipulative, because I know that there could be a hidden meaning behind that, a hidden agenda behind that. And I I shouldn't be made to feel like I owe you something. And that's where that manipulation comes in. If you're doing it because you genuinely like this person, your feelings for this person are so strong and you want to do it, and you're not expecting something in return, then by all means go and do it. But it seldom is like that though, because when I was studying astrology, and this is just an interest, I do this as an interest. I used to frequent an astrology forum where people used to ask for dating or love advice or friendship advice or family relationship advice through signs, astrology, natal charts. And you know, in the Cancer board, or in like anytime a woman or a man was seeking advice on their love interest or their family member or whatever, you saw it was time and time again, we heard these stories where the Cancer woman was, or the Cancer man was going up and beyond doing things for someone that they really liked. And there was that motive that I'm going, like, if I do all of this for this person, they're gonna love me back. And a lot of times what happened in this astrology forum was, the story was, you know, we would be just reading these stories, and as they progressed, like, people would come and give us updates. And a lot of times people came and they said, oh, this person like used me and left me, or I did all of this for this person and, you know, they just kept taking and then they left me. Or a lot of times what happened was, even when they got with the person and it was working well, it was like, I'm doing all the work in this relationship, I was doing all the legwork in this relationship, and this girl or this guy wasn't doing anything. And it's like, you kind of set yourself up for that, because you were the one chasing that person, you were doing that legwork. You never gave that other person, you know, the person you like, the chance to reciprocate or to show if they're also genuinely interested in you, or are they just interested in taking the things that you have to offer. So Cancer moons run that risk of, you know, giving too much too soon without discerning if the person is genuinely into you or they're not. You know, and simultaneously it could be seen as manipulative by people who, you know, simultaneously it could be seen as manipulative by people who are wary of people who start to do excessive things for you, and you're like, I have no relation to you, why are you doing all of this for me? And to me personally, if you ask me, when somebody is going that kind of that sort of overboard for you, there are strings attached to that. There's no free lunches in life. So people need to be wary, and Cancer needs to drop this kind of tactic to get, it's to their detriment, if you will. Cancer moons, it's to your detriment if you go up and beyond for someone, because it's twofold, right? This person may swindle you. They'll be like, oh, wow, this person is like dying to get swindled, dying for me to use them. Fine, I'll use them. Or the other thing is, you don't really know if this person genuinely likes you for who you are, because you just do so much and you never give the other person an opportunity to do some legwork, to give something to you in return. So you never really know if the person's genuinely into you or not. And this is the height of stupidity, because you guys seem to not learn. And I knew a Cancer moon woman at my workplace who kept getting swindled, and every time it was like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It was just, she was not learning. And other people at the workplace would give her advice and she would just refuse to learn. And I feel like people who burn their hand and they don't learn from that, that is the height of stupidity. And this is just how fantastical people operate. People who have a quixotic approach to life, this is exactly how they operate. They never learn from their mistakes. Like, it's just rinse, repeat, you know. And I want Cancer moon people to understand that you bring a lot to the table. You guys are dream of a person, you know, a domesticated person. Like, family oriented people out there, Cancer Moon is a dream to be with for them. And don't sell yourself short with someone who is a commitment phobe or who's genuinely not into you. You have no idea how many Cancer Moons, like Cancer Moon people who are just a dream to be with, who are, like domesticated, they're like family oriented, and they're wasting their life away with people who are not family oriented or who are commitment phobic. And it was just like, it got me thinking that maybe Cancer Moons are masochistic in some ways. They want what they can't have. They chase after emotionally unavailable, those who are aloof, emotionally aloof. I knew a Cancer Moon woman who was always running after like Aquarius people. And let me tell you, Aquarius and Cancer are not compatible in the long run. And I was just like, and one day and she even said to me, like, I love Aquarius, man. And, I like how they're I like their machismo and how aloof they are. And I was like, but none of these guys were into you genuinely. They were just using you for the perks. And she was just like, I don't know, I just like them. And then I was like, do you realize the words that are coming out of your mouth? You're telling me that you like emotionally unavailable people. Cancer Moons, Cancer dominant folks are masochistic. You guys have this thing for martyrdom, like self-proclaimed martyrs. That's what you guys are. You guys love being of service to people. You chase after emotionally unavailable people. You can't, it's almost as if the person remains unattainable emotionally, your interest in that person just goes further for that person. And the moment I think that you fully have them emotionally is when you start to lose interest in them. It's so weird. But I've observed this about Cancer Moon people. I'd like to see Cancer Moon people do healthy relationships. But a lot of times they just get stuck with users. And such is the story of Pisces Moon. You always catch them with some kind of swindler, be it a male or female, someone using them as a means to an end. And I hate seeing that happen to them because it's like, they're so nice. They're just so nice. They're such nice people. They do nice things for you. And I ended up befriending a lot of Cancer Moon folks, Cancer dominant folks when I was younger. I still do. And I feel like I feel like a mother to them, where I want to protect them and guide them. But it's very hard to guide someone who doesn't want to learn. They want to remain blind and just follow that quixotic approach because they are fantastical. Now, Cancer Moon folks, moody, because they have this quixotic approach to life, because they are so they are ruled by the moon, and they can't help this, but this is their nature. People who are not confrontational, when they're upset, they show you through their moods. They'll give you the silent treatment. They'll stonewall you. They won't talk to you. They'll serve you bad food if they're upset. This is the way Cancer Moon folks show you when they're upset, because they're not confrontational. And this goes for Pisces Moon. This goes for a lot of non-confrontational moons, because they don't want to rock the boat, but at the same time, they want to let you know they're upset. They're the people who, if you ask them, how's your day going? They'll be like, fine. That's the fantastical moon placements. There are also people who are not confrontational. Now, they don't do this on purpose. They're moody, but I would say this is not, it's so ingrained in them to be like that. It's a natural tendency. It's so visceral in them to be moody. It's like, you can't separate a Cancer Moon from their moods and their emotions. You can't. It's just so intertwined in their nature. Kind of like Aquarius is so aloof, you can't just separate the two. They're detached, and there's nothing you can do about that. Take it or leave it. Same with Cancer Moon. They're so emotional, and they're ruled by those emotions. So if they're feeling sad, you'll see it. If they're upset, you'll see it, but they won't say it. Like, I'm upset. oh, I'm upset. They'll like, you'll see it. They'll start crying. Take it or leave it. If you're someone who is, you know, you don't handle emotions well, or you get iffy when people start crying, that's not your placement. These are not your placements. But people who like vulnerability, people who like that, you know, in relationship you have to be vulnerable, you have to show emotions, these signs are for you. Signs like Aquarius, Gemini, that sort of, you know, run away from emotions, don't know how to handle emotions. They get iffy with emotions. They think emotions are such a burden. These guys, Cancer is not their cup of tea. That's not a long-term attraction. Now, as I've told you the negative and the good of this placement, when I say that Cancers don't communicate, I don't mean that they don't have a, like, they can't snap. The signs that are not confrontational, what they do is they like to shove everything under the rug, and then they eventually burst. So non-confrontational signs like Pisces moon, Libra moon, Cancer moon, these guys, when they, like, they'll start to shove everything under the rug because they want to rock the boat, but eventually they lose their thing and they snap, and it's a volcano. It just erupts. And that sort of happens when, like, they've hit the brink of you know, whatever's bothering them. It doesn't, if only it just gets communicated in time, maybe they wouldn't be erupting like that, but it doesn't. Now, Cancer moon people, you know, when I mentioned the moody aspect, this sign in the long term does not do well with cerebral signs, simply because they're too emotional for certain signs, like, for example, Capricorn. Now, Capricorn and Cancer, there's opposite attraction there, so you will see this pair. But it doesn't do well, like, with signs that don't like emotions and moodiness, like, say, Aquarius, or, you know, Capricorn, Geminis. These guys don't really want to see that. Anyways, I think I covered the thing that I really wanted to talk about this placement, and I don't think I missed anything, but if I did, I will put that in the description below. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, take care. Bye now.